Fala, fãs de games, tudo tranquilo aí, minha gente? Estamos aqui com mais uma live aí, da onde, né, vai acontecer hoje, já já, né, vai acontecer agora, tá marcado para 11 horas, né? Já, não, desculpa, gente, 13 horas, tinha passado já, né? Vamos lá, estão aqui aguardando aqui a liberação, né? Da onde, vamos ver, quais serão as novidades. Já tivemos aonde aí uma live falando sobre um pouco da realidade virtual, realidade aumentada, usando os óculos, né? Tivemos dados super importantes aí, principalmente dos jogos que estão sendo feitos. 50% dos jogos são feitos totalmente na onde, que é um dado bem incrível. Tivemos ontem algumas coisas, detalhes sobre novos recursos, com melhoria de combinação de câmeras, produção de câmeras diferentes ao mesmo tempo. Tivemos melhoria de recursos, fazer tipo um pôr do sol, um raio de sol bem mais detalhado, outras coisas, também outros efeitos de clima. Agora de hoje a gente tá vendo aí quais serão as novidades, se vai ser mais alguns recursos que vamos apresentar hoje, ou não, né? Ou vai ser alguma coisa, uma surpresa, né? Quem sabe, né? A gente pode esperar de tudo, né? Da onde? Também ontem tive uma conversa com um pessoal grande, né? De estúdio, produtores, tudo. Opa, começou.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning. We are back. It's Wednesday, and welcome back to Unity live at GDC. Welcome back, Liz.
Welcome back, Will.
Well, thank you.
And how are you? And what have we got lined up today?
NBC, stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Way to do it. We've watched the Unity game, and so for our first time out, we wanted to work with a partner that has done this before, has great experience in it, but also we have a shared mission here, which is that Unity wants to democratize games, and we want to democratize how developers can work with studios. So it was a great match, and then we were fortunate enough to get Intel and Microsoft on board, and of course they're a fundamental part of the whole ecosystem of game making and playing, and they came to the party with some of the prize money and additional technology and other things to help the challenge along. And so it's really a match made in heaven with sort of the four partners that we have on this.
Yeah.
That is true.
It's very true, yeah. And it's not just that. Am I right in thinking that there's mentorship in there
There
as well?
There is, and that's one of the things we really want to do is, build a mentoring and a very collaborative relationship with these developers. And so the winning developers will get a one-year contract with Universal to consult on the games. They'll also get to come out and visit the Universal Studios lot, which is just a really fun place to be. And they'll get mentorship from our team and from the creatives at Universal.
Money can't buy that. That's really
No,
exciting.
literally can't.
Literally cannot.
Cool. So if people want to meet you, are you guys around at the show as well? At
We
GDC?
are around at the show, and we'll be at the party. So we are a
Yes.
co-sponsor of the Unity party.
And I think you have
tonight.
something special planned for the Unity
We do.
party, right?
So we will have the DeLorean from Back to the Future for people to pose with, and we will have a ginormous Voltron.
And by
No, unfortunately, no.
It's binding. That's
yeah,
legally
yeah,
binding.
it's legally binding. The Flux. We have a lot of devs showing up, so maybe partying, including my favorite, the Jaws. So,
what could go wrong?
So we'd love to talk to you.
So we go to unityconnect.com to get
Right.
unityconnect.com
Do jogo,
make them
o efeito
build
do
everything out of components. There is
a
no, they
chuva
don't
da-
have to mess with meshes or
o cheiro, as
something. That
explosões,
is,
né?
very, very
So
high
gamer
level.
friendly.
Yeah, gamer friendly, definitely.
Cool.
Easy to use.
É,
And so how did your team
drone,
kind of come together to make this
você
game?
tá prometendo
The background
bastante.
was it started from the asset store. So I was developing my small game. Then on asset store appeared back in, I don't even remember,
2010,
a few years ago.
yeah.
Yeah, it's quite some time. So I've just it was a great idea behind it because I've just needed some technical solution for my game, and when I came up with it, I just realized, okay, why couldn't I share it with the others and collect some resources for further development? And it turned out to be a great idea.
Deixa seu like logo aí, né, aquela força aí. E se você não é inscrito, se inscreve no canal.
People that can think that it's only a store. It is a community hub where people just can join, can share their ideas, and come further with the shape Unity.
This game, you know, has a good amount of coverage. Obviously, it looks super cool as well, and you know, we love to feature it because like it looks beautiful and the performance is great. You know, those two kind of like winning things. But like I just wanted to kind of hear your opinion of, or at least for you to tell the audience why it's important to build a community around your game.
Oh well, right now we're doing the crowdfunding, and it is of course the whole game is community
Só que tá chegando aí, gente. A live daqui é sobre da onde, uma plataforma de produção de jogos, né, mundial. As maiores plataformas.
You are like, so if someone supports you, what do they get? Do they get early access builds to the game?
They get access first to the demo, which we release in stages with the community. So if they help us, they get early access to that, and there is the next stage. We improve with the feedback, and then.
So they basically get a voice in your development.
They get the voice in the development, and also there are of course some rewards like in-game badges for the higher backer or pledges. There are also some physical rewards, but I think the most important thing is that the community can help to shape the game.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's incredible.
I think it helps people feel invested. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It's good. It's like, thank you so much for joining us, Peter and Tom. It's been amazing to have you, and we're really looking forward to seeing more of drones.
Yeah, go to dronethegame.com. Dronethegame.com.
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, Unity Live show. So, Vuforia, a lot of people, a little bit of history.
Absolutely. So, from Google, and some of the differences here to keep in mind is, you know, AirKit, for example, you know, when it launched recently, really focused on that environment case where you take digital content and you put it in the real world to play out a game or to visualize something. Vuforia, the whole object-centric augmented reality, where you see the appliance or the automobile, that's something that we haven't seen in these other platforms yet.
Okay.
So that's really where we've seen a lot of value be driven in augmented reality, is through whether it's a marketer or a car manufacturer or someone who's just building a physical product and wants to add to it.
Yeah.
So we still see that, you know, the bulk of value of developers come to Vuforia and to Unity to build experiences. Of course, is just being hear more about how Vuforia works in Unity, and there's also some great things that are coming next from Vuforia. So we're gonna soon be adding support for AR Core in the same way that I talked about support for AR Kit.
Pessoal, voltamos aqui, vamos ver com a live aí. Deu um probleminha na câmera aí, mas estamos de volta, mas temos a apresentação da Batalha Royale, né, que já está disponível. Pô, já é palhaçada. Então estamos aí trazendo aí. Um pouquinho de conexão aqui, mas cara.
We're going to open up Star Wars Secrets of the Empire at our Void location here today.
We are thrilled to officially open this fantastic new experience.
There are rebel traitors in the area. Move out.
The Void's all about connecting the virtual and the physical, making that virtual world seem as real as possible.
You're smelling things, you're feeling heat, cold, you're touching things. We utilize a lot of digital technology and physical.
pra mobile, ó, gente. Fortnite. Agora não sai pra PC mais não. Que é bem bacana, né? Gente, olha esse detalhe.
And this is Epic's heritage, you know, from Unreal Tournament and Gears of War, high-end games for core gamers. On the other hand, there have been casual mobile games, starting with amazing games like Angry Birds and evolving along from that. But there is always the game industry has been split. And there's also been a growing degree of dysfunction in mobile gaming, which is that there are literally over 100,000 games shipping every year on these mobile devices, all competing for the same top charts on the App Store. That makes it really hard for developers. A lot have been forced to resort to ad-driven games and sketchy monetization models. But we see this new trend now that's upending the game industry. We think it's going to be a great thing for everybody, and that is that mobile gaming is now shifting from casual gaming as a focus to serious games for gamers. It's inherently a flight to quality. And this began in Korea. You know, last year we told you about Lineage 2 Revolution. Now this is an open world MMO with over 100 players online, powered by Unreal Engine 4 that runs on iOS and Android, and brings a truly console quality game experience to owners of all of these mobile devices. And that's just the start. But now it's coming here. Is now coming to Switch.
Realmente não sei se ela vai ser interrompida ou não, mas se for interrompida a coisa vai pegar mal para o real agora. Ah, tá pegando mal, né? Quem tá assistindo pela live. Agora lá, vocês pararem agora a apresentação deles. Hoje tá feia, viu? Vamos lá, estamos apresentando sobre o trem, não dá pra saber o que tá falando. Uma novidade bem bacana aí.
Thanks, Nick. Also, on Monday we announced that we were releasing a huge block of content from Paragon for free to all Unreal Engine developers. Now this package includes the large majority of the characters from the game and the environmental assets, which developers are now free to use in any game powered by Unreal of any type. So you can build a MOBA or a brawler or a shooter or a machinima and get the full benefit of this content. You know, for 3 years we poured our hearts and souls at Epic into building a MOBA with photorealistic graphics that put players directly into the action. So the team built a really great enough audience to really operate the voice into action to make this content at Epic. We are
traditional animation pipelines. And as we know from making games, iteration is king, and the more times you can iterate, the better the final product will be. But the real game changer is this TV show. They can make one episode a week. It's amazing. It's just unheard of in the animation business. But it's not just big companies who are achieving success. Third World Studios, a small animation company in Pakistan, created the critically acclaimed CG animated feature film, Aliyar and the Legend of Makur. A small team of only 60 artists, animators and engineers made a full-length feature film created entirely in Unreal Engine. By using assets from the Unreal Engine marketplace, they were able to save valuable time and focus their engines on the things that were really important for their story. And with mobile GPUs evolving as quickly as we're seeing today, it's only going to be a matter of time that something as great as this will be able to be played interactively, possibilities beneath sockets to really help a character's eyes light up. We also added the ability to stream animation data via live link directly from Vicon's motion capture systems. And as Siren herself said, she's going to be performing live every day at GDC. So if you go over to the Vicon booth, you'll be able to meet her, film her interactively, talk to her, ask her questions, and Alexa's going to be there to drive the character Siren. So, from a rendering perspective, we feel we're getting pretty close to crossing the uncanny valley in real time. But the devil is in the details. You really need a facial animation rig that can recreate all the subtle nuances of a human face. And this is slightly different for every single person that you would want to digitize. It's very easy to work out when something's in the uncanny valley. It looks weird, and the amount of times in dailies where we flash a system that can get every single detail of an actual face capture and animation technology.
Thanks. Lateral's meta-human framework, and we're compressing it up to 1 million times to an asset, pretty much the same as assets we have been using in production in the past 8 years. This means that we do not need hardware from the future to run this. It can run on current generation hardware. It's also important to note that it's not a simple playback. Technology is animating a rig with beautiful organic and noise-free function curves for estimated muscle contractions that it sees in the data, and these curves are also human-readable and editable. So even though no one has tweaked this animation, it was done by our algorithm, an animator could use this as a starting point. Colin can now demonstrate that we can actually add an offset to muscle contractions that we see in the performance. So he's just going to do something subtle with the brows, just to demonstrate the capability, because we want to be sensitive to Andy's performance as well. And we can make Andy look on the other side. So you can see that it's kind of like in a little bit sensitive area because of the high fidelity. But what this allows us, it opens up new possibilities of retargeting the animation to a new face, new character, or simple but fundamental things in production, like integrating the character in the actual scene. It can be used for experience design, like having Andy Serkis directly addressing each member of the audience in the VR space, which I personally feel it's very powerful and what actors have wanted to do for a long time. And it opens up a whole new world of level of immersion.
In the touch zoom, look at the eyes, look at all the details, and swap all the different characters. If you're also interested in learning more about how we made these characters, we're going to do a tech talk later for both Siren and Andy here in this theater. Okay, so now let's talk about augmented and mixed reality. In 2017, Chevrolet and the Mill showed the promise of mixed reality with the human race here on our stage at GDC. It was a sneak peek of what's possible in UE4 for interactive marketing and how professional-grade AR is going to change the way that content is made. Peter Jackson's Wingnut AR has also been doing some amazing groundbreaking work in augmented reality. Last year, Wingnut partnered with Apple to reveal AR kits at the Worldwide Developer Conference. Wingnut were able to normally would only see in a movie. Leap herald a new era of augmented reality. And
1998. Since then, it's become an integral part of many of the major sport broadcasts we see around the world. From the billboards in the background to stats and logos appearing to float above the field to player selects and even champ selects, we use it in a very similar way in our League Championship Series broadcasts. So for the World's Opening Ceremony 2017, we wanted to do something epic, something that was going to blow our players' minds using augmented reality. The idea, as Kevin said, take an iconic character, the dragon, and bring him to life, bring him to the bird's nest in China. To do that, we teamed with the amazing folks at Passion Republic to help us translate the dragon into cinematic fidelity, model him like he's a real dragon, animate it perfectly to match the stadium so that you can see the fingernails curl over the edge of the roof, be true to the style and the aestheticism into it to allow it to match really well with the live action creation with the play positing tool, something meant to be in a stadium, parking the other cast. Live broadcast is unlike anything I had ever done before, every time. Your edits. You have a venue that was changing underneath us. Times we rehearsed it right before live broadcast. How seedy your pants live broadcast can treat.
Touch the environment around you, pick up a blaster, and more. It's complete and total immersion in the Star Wars universe, powered by Unreal Engine. Secrets of the Empire is now open in Glendale, Anaheim, Orlando, and London, and the Las Vegas location is coming soon. Stay tuned for more later this year. At ILM X Lab, we want to let audiences step into our stories and experience cinematic worlds that look and feel as real as the ones on the movie screen. Working as a visual effects supervisor at Industrial Light and Magic, I witnessed over the last few years real-time rendering edging closer and closer to the photorealism we expect from blockbuster cinema effects. But for real-time rendering to achieve true cinematic quality for film production and interactive experiences, there's always been one big missing piece. To address this, Epic has been working closely with NVIDIA, ILM X Lab, and Microsoft on some next-generation rendering technology. What we're about to show you is an experimental project that we hope will give you a peek into the future of real-time computer graphics. Let me welcome Epic Games' own Jerome Plateau and Marcus Wassmer to the stage. Improved cinematic depth of field allows us to recreate the look and feel of real-world cameras and lenses. But ray tracing isn't just about rendering characters. It's just as important for creating realistic, complex environments.
Whoa. Let me reset that.
Yep. Jerome, you want to try to back up?
Uh-oh.
I'm here.
There we go.
And we're back.
So rendering all these reflections on the fly allows us control over material properties like roughness and effects like glossy reflections in real time.
Decades now. And really it's because this is kind of considered the holy grail of rendering quality. And you heard it, they've been chasing this for quite some time. The film industry transitioned largely to ray tracing about a decade ago, but it really hasn't been practical or even possible to do this in real time. Ray tracing solves a bunch of the fundamental problems of traditional rasterization type graphics. It simulates the physical behavior of light. It bounces, it's transmission through different medium and things like that. But the problem has been it's just been too demanding historically to do that in real time, really until now. So at NVIDIA, for the better part of the decade, we have been working on GPU-based ray tracing. We've developed technologies with things like iRay and optics to accelerate GPU-based ray tracing, and we're really now at the crux of real-time ray tracing becoming a practical reality right now. What you saw wouldn't have been possible without all of that investment in R&D that we put into it, and we've distilled all of that technology, know-how, and architecture into something we call RTX. This is ray tracing technology specifically targeted to accelerate real-time ray tracing. It's a combination of hardware and software algorithms, and it runs on Volta-based GPUs. The demo that you just saw ran on a DGX station, which uses 4 NVIDIA Volta GPUs connected with NVLink to achieve that level of essentially real-time cinematic realism. DXR is that core fundamental acceleration technology that enables real-time ray tracing. But you have to be able to program it. So we partnered with our friends at Microsoft to deliver an industry standard API that's called DXR, or DirectX Ray Tracing. That API is perfectly integrated with RTX to enable real-time ray tracing through APIs and interfaces that game developers are familiar with. And on top of that, we've layered in some GameWorks technology to give developers a kickstart for things like denoising and reconstruction filters for shadows and reflections and ambient occlusion. And then, of course, we've had a long-standing partnership with our friends at Epic, and we've worked closely with them to integrate all this technology into UE4 to unleash what we think is the next generation of graphics, but it's here now, and I expect you're going to see games shipping with real-time ray tracing this year. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks a million. Clicker. Talk here in this room. Now to talk more about games momentum and what our amazing developers have with games. So, speak to you later.
Thank you, Dana. And we've vectorized them and interpolate between them to get really smooth animations, but in a fraction of the time that you would normally expect it to take. One of our main goals at Pixel Opus is to make games that have heart, as I mentioned earlier on. And for us, that means exploring themes, characters, and stories that resonate emotionally for our players. We realized early on that to deliver on that, we would need to find a way for our characters